Julian has the most muscle, yes, but his shoulders are not as wide. Hussein has very wide shoulders and a very small waist, but Jeff has a little bit of everything. He has very wide shoulders, waist appears to be smaller, and his legs are actually very good. Greg's source of income for the next week. Greg feeds off energy from collab videos of different YouTubers like Galacticus eating planets. Funny how Julian seems lost and has no clue how to train, but is the biggest guy with the most muscle maturity, LOL. And so many people have stated, you know, Julian, he doesn't really know how to train, but he has all that muscle. That's proof he's a fake Natty. It proves nothing. What it proves is he has better genetics. That is what it proves. I really do think that most people overestimate just how important it is to train perfectly. If you give me identical twins with exactly the same genetics, and one person trains perfectly, Jeff's training them, Eric Janicki's got his back, he's coaching him, and they're doing everything to a T. They're perfect. The other bro just goes to the gym and trains all out. Trains hard, trains to failure. I'm betting the results are within 90%. One guy perhaps puts on 10 pounds of muscle in a year, the other guy puts on 9. Just because you don't train with the perfect range of motion, you're doing them like this, 2 arms at a time, versus you're doing it 1 arm at a time with the perfect stretch, with cables, everything. It's not actually going to make that much difference. As long as you're training hard, you're going to get the results.
I trained with Eric and we did leg press, and I used to do like a lot of weight, but I wasn't going all the way like with good range of motion. And he would tell me like he lowered the weight, I went all the way down, pause, a really good stretch.
And so as you know, with Eric Janicki's training, there is the most amount of range of motion possible. He does the highest amount of volume. He's doing rep after rep, very long time under tension, very strict motion, but he's very flexible. It allows for extreme amounts of muscle growth. I mean, after I'll look at his physique, does it not look like it's working? And so I do believe that when you're training, you should use as much stretch in the exercise as possible. But remember, I don't like 1 arm at a time. And so I'm not going to do it. And perhaps I'm losing out on 10% of the gains, but it's better than me never doing the exercise because I hate it.
I ran a study in more experienced trainees, and we compared full range of motion to length and partials, which again is more of a stretch emphasis. And we found no difference.
And so I remember Jeff's study on this, and although it said there was no difference statistically doesn't mean one is not better than the other. It means there's not a significant difference enough to detect and prove for certain that it was in fact better. It doesn't mean it's not better, it just means they couldn't detect it for certain. And so, for example, if they did a study and gave people 1 Turk Builder Max and they said, hey, don't work out, in a month from now, we're going to do a DEXA scan to see how much muscle you put on compared to placebo, it doesn't mean that this didn't actually work. The DEXA scan, the sensitivity of the test, it's not enough to detect every single difference. And so, although there's no difference, it's very much possible or even likely that there is one that's better than the other.
But I still think it's the most important aspect of the range of motion for most muscles. It's not going to make a night and day difference. Obviously, nothing will, honestly, other than maybe just training hard, you know.
And so you see, Jeff is saying, the stretched portion of the exercise, even though I do believe that it's the best part of the exercise, it's not going to make a night and day difference in your training. And maybe a small difference, but as long as you're training hard, that's going to make the biggest difference.
You've only been training for 3.5 years?
3.5 now,
But if you start with an optimized approach, which is mainly just like training hard, doing enough volume, decent technique, you can make a lot of gains in 3 years.
And so let me just touch on this quickly. Hussein did this transformation in 3.5 years, but what people don't understand is that he wasn't an athlete growing up. If he had been a gymnast doing gymnastics his entire life, his starting point would have been so much higher. But instead of being a gymnast, he was a gamer. Gamers don't do a lot of exercise. And so even if you have really good genetics, if you don't use those genetics, you just sit there and do nothing, they are not allowed to flourish. And so if you have amazing genetics, say 1 in a million, and you go to the gym and you train hard, you're going to make extremely impressive gains. Julian, people saying he's only been training for 3 years. He started at 14, he turned 19. And so the last I checked, that's closer to 4 or 5 years than it is to 3. He has amazing genetics, clearly, but what he doesn't have is excellent technique. He's young and he just goes through the motions, but He trains hard. Did you not see him do those 100-pound chin-ups? He had 100 pounds attached to his body, putting himself over 300 pounds, and he's doing the chin-ups like it's nothing. He trains heavy, he trains hard. That's how he got all those gains.
But the standard is a little lower because, yeah, most people don't make a lot of gains in their first 3 years because they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. And
it takes 3 years to figure it out.
Exactly.
And Jeff is saying most people don't make a lot of gains in their first 3 years because they don't know what they're doing. That is partially true, but a bigger factor, I do believe, it's because they don't have great genetics. Everyone's ability to improve, it's on a bell curve. Have you heard of that? The bell curve. Some people are above average and some people are below average. Some people are way above average. Some people are way below average. The same applies to height. We have some people in this world who are 3 feet tall, other people in this world who are 7 feet tall. But the average is 5'9" for men, 5'3.5" for women. If you put 1,000 newbies into a gym, let's say they start at 18 years of age and say train for 3 years, most people are going to put on a medium amount of muscle. Does that not make sense? Some hard gainers in 3 years, they might only put on 10 pounds of muscle. 3 years they've been working out harder than last time, and they only put on 10 pounds. They hate it. The average person, let's call it 15 to 20 pounds of muscle. Remember, this is 3 years of newbie gains of hard work. But out of 1,000 people, there might be 1 or 2 that put on 30 to 40 pounds of muscle. And so if we increase the sample size from 1,000 people to 1,000,000, some people probably put on only 5 pounds of muscle, while others, they might have put on 50. They are the outlier of the outlier, perhaps 5 standard deviations from the mean. And so when you get a large enough sample size, you will find a few genetic phenoms who can build a shit ton of muscle without performance-enhancing drugs, and even more so than those who use performance-enhancing drugs. You give me the best natural genetics in the world, and you have them train, versus someone with shitty genetics and they are on test, trend, D-ball, and GH. They're not going to put on as much muscle as the guy who's natural. Assessing their physiques, I do in fact believe that right now, as it stands, Jeff Nippard would be the victor in a bodybuilding competition. If it was Jeff versus Julian versus Hussein, I believe Jeff would win. You might think I'm biased. If I'm biased, would I not say that Hussein would win, considering he's part of HCLT supplements? But yet, I'm judging it based on what I'm seeing. Julian has the most muscle, yes. But his shoulders are not as wide. Hussein has very wide shoulders and a very small waist. But Jeff has a little bit of everything. He has very wide shoulders, waist appears to be smaller, and his legs are actually very good. Hussein, he doesn't have Jeff Nippard's quads, and so I believe Jeff would win in a bodybuilding competition. Now, in the side chest pose, it appears that Hussein Farhad is winning this pose, despite the fact that Julian has bigger arms. Hussein simply is posing a little bit better. Jeff, by far, is hitting this pose the most effectively. He's rotating slightly. It's giving him more width. He's taking up more side from here to here. The other two more straight on. And so with the twist, he's showing off his physique a little bit better. The front lat spread, giving it to Hussein Farhad. He's got the clavicular width, the wide shoulders, great looking arms, as well as a very full chest. Julian's chest appears to be a little bit flatter from the front, less of the width. And so giving it to Hussein. Jeff Nippard is close behind, but just doesn't have the same kind of mass in the upper body as Hussein. And from the rear, this one, I have to give it to Julian. He has the most muscle, the crazy peaks on the biceps. In second place, Jeff Nippard, who has very good definition, surprisingly looked very lean. And third place in this pose is Hussein Farhad, who is being out-angled. You can see he's behind Julian, Julian being closer to the camera, making him look that much bigger. And so you can see, if you get closer to the camera versus further back, you can make your physique look larger than life. And on the side chest, I'm really liking the way Jeff's obliques are showing through. The obliques, the muscle on the side of the body, looking very, very lean. Julian just has really sick looking arms. The bicep and the tricep, the delts, Jeff, very good delts as well, very good triceps. Very hard to judge this pose. I'm going to have to give it to Jeff. Side tricep for Hussein. His triceps are very, very lean. He's got full looking chest, but he's not twisting as much. I can't see the obliques. I'm giving this one to Jeff. And the most muscular, I'm going to give this one to Jeff as well. He has more striations in the chest. He's a bit leaner. The traps are the biggest of the three. Remember, many people say the traps are what fake natties have the most. Julian and Hussein don't have very large traps. Jeff, much better. Does that mean Jeff is the fake natty and the other two are natural? It doesn't work like that. And besides the point, all three are natural. Now, if Hussein were a bit leaner, as lean as Jeff, I do believe he could win this pose. And for Julian, he just needs to learn how to pose that much better. He's more so hunched like this. If he leaned forward, flexed down, maybe got his chest striations out, perhaps Julian could win.
I'll dry scoop everything.
Oh, do you actually?
Yeah.
What's the flavor?
Strawberry banana.
Oh.
Or Hussein mode. Depends on how you want to call it.
And we've got Jeff dry scooping Hussein's mode before GTA 6. And we were concerned about Hussein having Jeff on his computer in the secret folder, but yet it's Jeff dry scooping Hussein's mode.
Dry scoop.
Oh, whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah? Dry scoop is kind of...
Oh, wow, it's really, that definitely tastes the banana. Yeah, that's nice. I like it.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
And so I have no idea why Hussein dry scoops. When I'm with him, he dry scoops it on his own. I find it way too powerful. I like to mix it rather weak. I use 2 scoops of the Blue Lobster in a very large glass, about 2 cups of water, and I drink it like that. I feel like that is normal. For those of you who are just hating on this group of people because they have better physiques than you, they can't be natural because, well, Philion and the catabolic twigs said there's no way you can build that much natural. Well, they proved themselves to be natural through the blood work, surprised, unannounced tests, and so on. And so remember this. Comparison is the thief. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. And don't forget, Momentous is now live. Go and get Momentous clothing. Momentous clothing from Hussein Farhad, Eric Janicki, and myself. You gotta get the clothing. And if you're interested in getting blood work done, of course, get and reach out to Algo RX. I'm now a part owner of Algo RX. Qualified doctors will assess your blood work, find out exactly what you need. And so if you're interested, click the link in the bio. And of course, coaching plans by me and my team. If you want to get coached by the best coaches in the world, you know what to look for. Coach Greg, of course, Coach Greg. And for the cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team, the Circle Diet book, everything, don't forget to enter code Greg to save yourself 15%. And until next time, I am out.